Do you think everyone deserves love?
Call it what you want, but I do not believe a woman who is out of shape deserves to be in a relationship. So if me sharing my beliefs triggers you, then your belief system is weak.
You can't talk about how other people look when you have diarrhea of the mouth.
Healthy doesn't equal skinny, and fat doesn't equal unhealthy.
Let's be real. A lot of you guys were offended by my video because you are physically unfit.
You project your own experience and journey onto other people because you assume that everyone has access to the same resources that you do.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Selena, or welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome back. We are filming more than one video in a day, so I'm still drinking this sparkling water as my drink of the day, Maison Perrier. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, I did want to say a quick trigger warning. We are talking about some sensitive things in this video, body image, if that's not helpful to you and your journey, because we're going to be talking about topics that surround it as well, then please exit this video and I'll catch you in the next one. So there is a TikToker named Dasia Grady. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but she has a fitness account and she posts a lot of her workouts. She does a lot of walks and she'll walk and talk to the camera. It says in her bio she's either in the gym or dropping gems, and she is a certified fitness coach. So Dasia's video recently went viral because she states that if you are out of shape, she believes that you do not deserve to be in a relationship. Check this out.
Call it what you want, but I do not believe a woman who is out of shape deserves to be in a relationship. When it comes to love, there are rules one must abide by, and the first one is love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So if you cannot love yourself enough to make sure you are physically fit, emotionally fit, spiritually fit, baby, you are not qualified to love anybody else. Feel how you want.
This 24-second clip said a lot to me without saying much. Before we get into the comments, let me break down some things that stood out to me. The first thing, she says, call it what you want. So that tells me that she already knows what she says might be a hot take and will be controversial, and she knows that people will have a lot of responses to it. She also starts with a woman who is out of shape doesn't deserve to be in a relationship, but then later on says that there's other things that you can be out of shape with. She says physically first, then spiritually, mentally. And she says, like, you love thy neighbor, you must love yourself. She's basically saying if you don't love yourself enough to get all aspects of you in shape, then you don't deserve to be in a relationship. And my question first is, why is being in a relationship talked about like a prize? Yes, I agree that companionship can be helpful. It's important to have a healthy companionship if you do have one. But some people are okay with being alone. And if you are in a relationship, you should be comfortable with yourself and being alone first and foremost. When people respond to her videos, they're saying, well, where's your husband? You know what I mean? There's actually a lot of comments that I would like to read before we dive into what people have stitched and said to her, because I feel like her responses are very telling. Oh boy, she'll find out the hard way, huh? Dasia says, no need to. I'm already making a conscious decision to take care of my body mentally, physically, and emotionally. When you are hard on yourself, life is easy on you. I disagree, end of story. As a big girl who's married and very much loved, I'm sorry I don't know what or who hurt you, but I hope you heal. You can be single or married. Even though hubby is loving you, make sure you are still loving you. You got this, girl. I do not like that make sure was capitalized, because the person who commented said she's a big girl, so why are you saying make sure that you are still loving you? Yet you have no ring on your finger, so I don't think it's the physique, honey, and the nerve of you to talk down on other women to uplift yourself. Sad and predictable. Love yourself. You seem exhausted. A ring has nothing to do with self-love. Y'all say anything to deflect from the truth, lol. Girl, who is you? I couldn't see myself loving someone who says you only deserve love if you look a certain way. Extremely shallow. You clearly have selective hearing because there were other aspects listed, lol. That does tell me that she does agree that looks help determine if you deserve love or not. I think everyone deserves love. And you guys know I'm a dog person, but I'm thinking about this. When people say that chihuahuas are ugly, you know what I'm saying? Or that, what's it called when there's the cat with no hair? A lynx? No, let me just double check. A sphinx cat. When people say a sphinx cat or a chihuahua are ugly, that doesn't mean they don't deserve love. And I'm not calling them ugly, I'm just saying, I'm just thinking about this, okay? People will say that, but that doesn't mean that creatures and people who are alive and dead should not be loved. You know, I know that was a crazy comparison, but if you think that someone is ugly and you think that they shouldn't be in a relationship or that they're not worthy of a relationship, what is wrong with you? That is not true. And that is very rude and mean. And what if someone thinks you're ugly or you're out of shape? Does that mean that you're not worthy of love too? Her opinion shouldn't matter, but also it's a deeper conversation of what's going on internally with you, Dasia, and why do you think that? I think you're a beautiful girl. I don't think that that should be the only thing that makes you worthy of love. I think you're worthy of love regardless of your looks. I think anyone is worthy of love, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a maternal or paternal love, whether it's your neighbor just being your friend. You know, that actually goes to a deeper conversation about pretty privilege too. But let's keep reading these comments before I get carried away. People who are emotionally, spiritually, and physically fit don't put others down on the internet, period. Don't deflect your own insecurities onto others. You are very outwardly beautiful, but saying this out loud is ugly. Work on yourself. Being fit doesn't equal loving yourself, by the way. What would you relate it to? Mind you, this is someone who takes time out the day to move their body, eat intentionally, implement discipline, self-control, and consistency when they could just eat any and everything, then sit on their behind and do nothing, which results in weight gain. Please tell me, what would you equate physical fitness to? Everyone knows being physically fit costs you something. Most aren't willing to do this, is why 890 million people are obese. I don't like the caps lock. Can we not? Probably more than that, honestly. Don't like reading her response to that. And where is your man at? You don't need a man to practice self-love. I hate that that's the standard y'all place on yourselves. I never had that issue. Everything I do is genuinely for me to become better, not to attract a man, lol. And what makes you think that they don't love themselves if they don't fit your standards, Dasia? LMAO, I'm a whole wife and I'm out of shape. You can love yourself single or married. Self-love isn't only for those who are single. It's so crazy that most of y'all women think that. I think you left out the part where you explain how being physically fit equals self-love, Dasia. I see we're still body shaming in 2025, even with all of the mental health issues that it brings. Why are there filters on this video? That's actually really funny. Because I hide the sweat on my forehead from my workout, lol, forgive me. I know it's a crime on here. You know, what if someone said, what if a different creator said, if you use filters on your video, I don't think you're worthy of love. Like, that's comparable to this situation in my opinion. What if someone said that, and then how would Dasia respond to that, you know? Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. John 7:24 KJV. Dasia says, a second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22:39 NLT.
Baby, be quiet. I have 6 chairs around my dinner table. Pick one and have a seat. How are you going to use scripture to promote your vain way of thinking? Bless your little young, unmarried, never had a baby heart. You're just as pretty as you want to be, and I can tell you probably thought you ate when you posted that video, but sweetie, it's obvious that you need some spiritual protein. I used to think that I knew everything when I was your age too. Boy, I do not miss being that stupid. But keep on living, baby, because you just got here. In the meantime, let mama share some wisdom with you. Being emotionally, physically, and spiritually fit is not always reflected by how you look on the outside, sweetie. It's an inside thing. Besides, I know people twice your size and twice your age that could run circles around you, no doubt. Men do love a pretty face and a tight body, but they will not live with a woman who has an ugly attitude or spirit. You don't get to say who does and who does not deserve to be in a relationship. Unless you're a medical physician, you don't get to say who's in and who's out of shape. Being skinny does not mean you're healthy or attractive. Besides, there are a lot of us who are comfortable in our grown women bodies. While you're making vain videos about how a person should look, we're out here getting degrees, running businesses, and raising families. Lemon. That's what I'm missing. I'm missing lemon. Mama bears who put on a little extra thickness over the years possess a strength that you can't get at the gym, sweetie. It's a maternal instinct that's a danger to be messed with. We possess a wisdom that you have yet to walk into, but you should look forward to it. You can't talk about how other people look when you have diarrhea of the mouth. It's a whole new level of letting yourself go that you will eventually come to understand. You said in one of your videos that there were women who got offended because you stepped on some toes. I think they got in their feels because of your audacity. Because you're another youngin' with an iPhone and a social media account who thinks that you can play God in the lives of others. The videos that you're making right now, sweetie, are not gonna age well for you. I'm talking from experience. I've been humbled by God, and It wasn't fun, girl. This coming from a woman who's been happily married for the past 29 years, a wonderful husband, and gorgeous children. I'm not trying to be mean, I promise you. I am saying this out of tough love. But if I stepped on any of your toes, it was because I meant to. With every single ounce and pound of extra fluff. You might catch that one tomorrow.
Someone posted this comment with a picture, and I'm gonna warn you, this made me mad. This comment right here. My man loves me just fine, and I went from 120 to 280 from PCOS and other health problems. Dasia says, you brought the PCOS upon yourself, queen, by your habits and lifestyle. You weren't born with it, so it's time to reverse it by changing your lifestyle. More healthy foods, natural sugars, more movement, etc. Reach out if you need any help. We have to do better with caring for ourselves so we can love/care for others better. That is terrible. You know what bothers me too is people thinking that they brought things onto themselves 100%. A lot of people use diabetes, that condition and term, as a joke, you know, saying, oh, this candy is diabetes, or if you eat this donut, you're going to get it. That is absolutely not true. One donut is not going to give you diabetes, and just think of that stigma in a comparison. Diabetes has a strong genetic component, so does PCOS. And PCOS, one of the symptoms is insulin resistance. Do you see a correlation with the endocrine system? It's just sad. I went to a seminar and it was really good because it was about diabetes education. And the doctor said, would you shame someone who is on medications to treat their cancer? And so that was also said for, would you shame someone to do that if you are prescribed medications for diabetes? It's almost like people think that they can control their health by just simply doing lifestyle changes. Now, the lifestyle changes are great. They can be preventative, you know, eating your nutrients, being active, but that's not causation. It can be part of it, but if you have family history or you were exposed to something, there are medication-induced diabetes as well. It's just very hurtful to perpetuate that narrative. And also, I do not see doctor credentials in her bio. So her saying, let me know if you need help after that too, just seems backhanded, especially after saying you brought this on yourself. Like, that is so mean. And that's so disgusting to say to a person.
We know that. Why are you so concerned about fat women? It's really, what is it, rage baiting? Easy clicks and likes? If not, if this really is something you believe, examine why you believe that or feel that, because fat women out here in many relationships, skinny women out here not in relationships. I'm 30 years in. Mine doesn't care. People are fat for many different reasons. People that go to the gym every day, they eat consciously, health conscious, and do all the things to be thin as you would deem more so healthy. Healthy doesn't equal skinny, and fat doesn't equal unhealthy. You don't know people's story like we don't know yours, but we suspect yours is coming from a place of pain. Deal with that. Leave fat women alone.
Conditional love is a love I don't want because I will love my lady regardless. Your love should have limits. Oh my gosh. I believe in unconditional love. This gotta be AI. Can you say I'm a narcissist without saying I'm a narcissist? She does respond in another video, and she talks about people making comments on her platform.
If you're constantly triggered by hearing somebody else's thoughts and beliefs, then you're not emotionally healthy enough for social media. There should be no reason why seeing somebody else's post sends you into an emotional tizzy. If you truly believe in what you believe in, then why are you triggered? Truly answer that question. So many of you guys are in my comments explaining why you believe what you believe and trying to convince me to not believe in what I believe in when I don't care. I believe in what I believe in for a reason. So if me sharing my beliefs triggers you, then your belief system is weak. And guess what? I still believe in what I believe in, even after y'all thoughts about how a person who values health and fitness deserves to have their certification revoked, or a person who pushes a healthy lifestyle deserves to be labeled a narcissist. I'll be a narcissist. I'll be whatever, because baby, I enjoy the life that I live. I enjoy the fruits from my belief system. So just know that won't be the first or the last video that offends you. So buckle up. Have a good day.
And also, people are saying they're not triggered from it. They're genuinely concerned. And I am too, because I want her to be able to feel comfortable enough and feel confident enough within herself beyond her looks to love herself. Let's be honest, it's really hard for people to love themselves, you know? Some comments under this video: so beautiful yet so insecure. I promise you a man will love you when you start to love yourself, when you start to respect others and speak gracefully. Until then, life will only ever be lonely. Just yappin'. They are not triggered, they are only responding to your post. Time exposes, karma corrects, God humbles. Remember that. Do people who don't naturally have straight teeth deserve love? Dasia says it's up to the person they are dating and what they prefer.
Let's be real. A lot of you guys were offended by my video because you are physically unfit. Over 1 billion people are currently considered obese, knowing all the statistics behind living that life. And even though the video did include other aspects of health and fitness, you guys didn't even get to that part because all you heard was physically fit. And because you're not physically fit, it hit a nerve. How you choose to live your life is your business. If you are a man or a woman and you know that you are physically unfit, that you are not in the best shape that you could possibly be in, or if there's room for growth in your life and yet you are able and unwilling, that is a personal choice. You cannot get mad at somebody else because of something you chose to do. So many of you are upset that I quoted the Bible. However, the Bible is the foundation of which I live my life. So if me applying the teachings from my book of faith has allowed me to look how I look physically, and you applying the teachings of your book of faith or lack thereof has allowed you to look how you look physically, I will always apply the teachings from my book of faith. So if you were to ask me again, do I feel that a person who is physically unfit, emotionally unfit, spiritually unfit, mentally unfit, in every aspect deserves to be in a relationship? No, because if we are given free will and we choose to neglect ourselves by personal choice, what do you think you're going to do to another person? Now, that does not mean you're not going to be dating somebody, even though you are neglecting yourself. Because when I was neglecting myself in every aspect of the word, I had a boyfriend at the time. And he lived his life in the same way that I was living my life. So yes, you will attract a person at that same level that you're at. But the overall purpose of that video was to prioritize self-love, whether you're a man or a woman. It does not matter if you're single or you're in a relationship. Self-love is a foundation for every other thing that you love in your life. So feel how you want, say what you want. Yes, I have braces, I could get veneers, but I want a perfect smile and I want the teeth to be mine. Yes, my brows are bushy, I want thicker brows. Yes, I use a filter, I just got done working out. Sometimes my sunscreen sweats off my face. Who cares? How I live my life should not offend you if you are comfortable and confident with how you live your life. Get the message or keep it pushing. Have a good day.
You want to be real? The fitness industry thrives off of shame. Always want to talk about statistics and a way to put blame on the other person and never the multitude of factors that influence a person's body. This whole no excuses, extreme accountability mindset is incredibly toxic because it oversimplifies complex issues like obesity. Also indicates you having a low emotional intelligence and lacking empathy. Empathy doesn't mean making excuses. Empathy means having an understanding as to how and why someone got into the position that they are. When you shame someone into making changes, those changes are built off of avoiding judgment, better fitting into societal standards, and pleasing others. They don't come from an intrinsic place. So more than likely, those changes are going to be short-lived. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps mentality is a clear sign that you have an inability to hold space for others. You genuinely cannot listen from a place of compassion without jumping to conclusions. And you project your own experience and journey onto other people because you assume that everyone has access to the same resources that you do. Explain to me why it's always the people quoting the Bible who are the most hateful. Just because you hate yourself, babe, doesn't mean that everybody else needs to hate themselves too.
But what's going to happen is you're not going to get new clients because this is being shared across all platforms. A lot of people are copying it and using it to make stitches, or they've just video recorded your post and reposted it in a myriad of places. So you might have the loyalty and the buy-in from the clients that you currently have, but trust me, Cupcake, new people are not going to come on board. If a woman's already out of shape and feeling insecure about her body, and then she sees a potential coach posting about how overweight people that are out of shape shouldn't be in relationships, and here's that judgment coming from you, they are not going to feel supported and safe in that environment that you are supposedly offering them. And I know that this is going to come back and hit you and bite you in the because I have really good pattern recognition, and I'm also a therapist. And so what you're saying lacks emotional intelligence. It also lacks mindfulness, kindness and compassion. And you're too young to make judgment calls about what society should engage in or not, or what overweight or out of shape people should be able to do or not do. Nobody woke up and said, oh, here's the arbiter of what people should be able to do and who should be allowed to be in a relationship. You don't get to define what normative is. You don't get to sit on some throne and dictate to other people what your expectations are for behavior and health and weight and exercise, because we didn't vote you in that role. And so when you do it and you make those statements, you're assuming that the rest of society thinks that's okay, or thinks that you're an expert, or actually asked you to do it. So you are devaluing another person's experience, and you're dismissing the women that have weight problems or are out of shape for a myriad of other reasons. And you're also dismissing a huge group of people that have myriad of health issues that might impact their ability to exercise or work out. And they already feel demoralized and sad and depressed and anxious about what's going on in their life. And now you're adding on another layer saying that they shouldn't be able to function and be in romantic relationships. Do you even understand how incredibly harmful that rhetoric is and how damaging it can be to another person's psyche? I highly recommend that you reconsider your post. You still have time to take it down. I am telling you with 99% conviction, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. It's not going to play out the way that you want to. And I actually believe eventually the gym will ask you to leave. They will not want to be associated with you wherever you train. Maybe you'll still be able to get private clients. But the fact that you're doubling down and not taking accountability for your misinterpretation of all of the people's reactions around you also speaks to your lack of emotional intelligence. I don't know if you've gone to college. I don't know what kind of education you had, but right now you're demonstrating that you lack critical thinking in addition to all the other deficits I've already named. There's nothing wrong with you. I don't think that you are inherently a bad person, but this behavior is incredibly maladaptive. And I recommend that you reconsider that post. And I would even, if I were you, as a PR person who has worked in DC and still works in politics, the first thing I would tell you to do is to issue an apology and take it down. Because there might be a point in your life later on that you want to access a different kind of career choice. And if anybody sees this video, especially if you want to work in HR, you want to be an attorney, you want to be a physical therapist, they are going to see that content and they are going to decide not to hire you because they are going to understand that you lack perceptual awareness and emotional intelligence. Anyway, do better.
Well, that was a lot, but what do you guys think about this whole situation? Do you agree with what Dasia said, that people who are out of shape don't deserve to be in a relationship? Do you disagree with what Dasia said? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!